So today's Halloween challenge is a zombie crawl, where your dogs crawl along the floor. And again, this is something that's going to take a few days. It's not necessarily going to be something you're going to crack straight away, because as with all tricks, they take a little bit of time to build up. But the first thing we want to do is get our dogs into a down position and reward that down, and then we're going to encourage them to crawl along. So let's see what Barney's never done this before, and he's very enthusiastic, as you can see. Trying to steal my treats. It's not a nose bag. Get out. So we don't know what's going to happen. This is proper teaching a dog from start to finish. So we've got our sit position. We're going to see if you can go down. My clicker is broken. There we go. So we're going to reward that down. That's the position we want him to be in. Then you're going to take a handful of treats, because we want as much incentive for this as possible. And then, rather than feeding him one, I'm just going to see if he will do exactly that. As I put my hand down, I'm just going to move away from him, and we want him to crawl along the floor. So any movement, you are full of excitement. So any movement of any foot, any sort of move towards, without the bum coming up. We don't want the bum coming up. We just, if the bum comes up, just reset them into a down. We just want some form of movement. You did it the first couple of times, now you're not. So, because he's excited, I'm just going to reward some stillness. We're going to go back to just rewarding that down position. I'm getting mauled and slobbered upon, Barney. Down. As you can see, he's going like this really weird, like sideways down. I love him. Just go straight, my love. But again, we've got a little bit of a crawl there. We reward anything that looks vaguely like what we want. So any form of crawling movement there, I'm just going to reward it. His bum came up, but it's something. So you might get, yes, the boy. You might get stomach bumps, absolutely fine. But as you very, very slowly move that hand forward, you'll get some form of movement. So if you can notice, that's when he's kept his bum down, there was some form of movement where he was travelling. So that's all we're rewarding to begin with. And obviously your dog made this a little bit calmer. Wouldn't that be boring, hey Barney? Your dog might do it as enthusiastically as Barney does, which is absolutely fine. Yeah, we can refine it afterwards. Sit. But so what's nice about this video is all the other ones we've had so far, we've got that arm to come out. Why you are doing it sideways, I don't know. We've been working on roll over. We just are seeing this in real life kind of speed. This is how messy a trick will look at the beginning stages. And Barney's only young, he's very enthusiastic. There we go, got that leg out. Good boy. And each time, if you notice now, he's starting to work out, okay, what am I doing that gets the treat? And now I can start to see if he'll crawl along a little bit further. So it doesn't look pretty, it doesn't look fancy, but that's the idea. At the beginning stages, it looks crazy. And then we can refine it once he knows what he's doing. At the moment, he's just offering things that work. And obviously, at the moment, the thing that works is seeming to be near to the floor. I just want this arm to come up. I'm not quite sure why you're doing that. I think it's the angle of my hand. This is where we can troubleshoot. And obviously, this is what I'm doing, because obviously I've not done this with him before. Troubleshooting, I'm holding my hand like this, so he's trying to get my hand. So I'm either trying to hold my hand flat or go actually this way. And he's still putting his arm under. So we can kind of lure him this way slightly. If he comes up before I click, he doesn't get a treat. I am troubling him, slobber. Okay, now I'm going this way up because he's nice and square. Sit. Sit. Good boy, down. And the aim of the game here is that we just want him near the floor, staying on the floor and travelling. So, as I say, doesn't look pretty, doesn't look fancy. Each time, we're just going to see if he can move a little bit further. Down. Nice straight down, lots of nibbling of the hands. We've got up a little there, so we're going to reset. Yes, that's what we like. And we want a little bit more movement. Yay, good boy. And you notice that he's kind of getting up a little bit sometimes, which is absolutely fine. Go. And you may think, my goodness, he's crazy. He's just a Springer puppy. This is normal. You've got to calm down a lot, haven't you? Down. Good boy. So we just want to keep our lower hand really slow. So if we do it too fast, that's when he kind of gets up. And we're making small movements, which is really good. We just want them to stay close to the floor. Down, down. So we're looking for this nice crawling along the floor again. We're kind of like leaping across, but it's all good. That one was much better. You see we've got 3 steps. So what we're going to try now, my hand stinks of pate. So I want to see if I can do this similar without any treats in my hand. Down. He's like, yeah, don't be daft. God bought us anything, which is nice. Can you see now there's less grabby? And we did have a little bit of movement. I was a bit slow marking, so we'll try that again. When you come to phasing out the food, what you'll often find is you need to do one with the food, one without the food. Because if you do multiple without the treat lure, your dog is just going to go, what's the point? So I was being fed for this. Sit down. And suddenly I'm not, so why should I bother? So it's really nice. Down, to down. Good boy. Good boy. So it's really nice to do one with the treat, one without the treat. And you can go through the motion of actually pretending to have a treat in your hand, because some dogs just need that little bit of an incentive. And we don't do anything different, we still do our hands in exactly the same way. It's just, we then flip and release the treat afterwards. So one with treat, one without treat. Going sideways, going towards the camera this time. And obviously for this trick, you do have to kind of end up sprawling along the floor yourself. Obviously it's a little bit tricky here because I'm trying to do it like within the camera shot as well, which is not easy. Nice. So we got like 3 crawls that time. And like now you can see this with the treat is looking so much better. And I say, I don't know what the time's at, but this is literally after about 10 minutes of him learning to do this. But he's starting to work out what gets me the treat, what doesn't get me the treat. We're not getting these off, well, I was about to say we're not getting that crawling and rolling to the side as much, but we are. But we're getting that nice crawl along the floor movement now as well. And because he's getting tired, I'm just throwing the treat away into each one. And then it gives him that movement break and that brain break. So just remember when you're luring, really, really slow movement, licking, nibbling. I mean, I'm covered in slobber. So we are not going to get a finished product with this video, which is absolutely fine because it's true work in progress. But we have seen how to build this up completely from the beginning stages. And just shows you how quickly they can start to work out exactly what you want from them. So when you're practicing, practice to this level. Getting them used to crawling on the floor, occasionally taking the treat away, occasionally going back to having the treat. Each time you practice, you're just going to understand what you want from them just that little bit more, and it's going to start to look really nice. So this video is not a finished product because Barney's brand new to learning it. All of our older dogs were like, nah, not interested. And it's something I taught Dave when he was younger, but his hips hurt now, so we can't do it anymore. So I couldn't share it with him. So it's quite nice actually to work through from beginning stages with a young dog. So when you're practicing at home at the beginning, this is what you're going to do. Basically work through exactly as I've worked through with Barney. Having the treat in your hand, getting them into a down position, treating them in that down position to start with, and then encouraging just a little bit of movement, marking and rewarding, encouraging a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, gradually elongating how long they are moving on the floor for. If they stand up, if the bum comes up, we stop, we start again. So the idea is capturing that moment where, thank you, where they are crawling before they put their bum up, whilst they're staying on the floor. And you may need to play around with the duration of how long you expect them to do it for, as they're getting better at it, as they're getting tired. And as you've seen, Barney just really needs a movement break in between. Once you can lure them for a good kind of like 5 or 6 crawls, that's a good kind of place to be at. Start playing around with taking the treat away. When we take the treat away, we're going to only have 1 or 2 crawls because it's much harder without that incentive. But over time, they'll be able to do it for longer and longer and longer without the treat. When they can get to that sort of 5 or 6 crawls without having a treat, that's when, I'm going to do it, that's when we can maybe start to put a crawl on it, a cue on it. We don't name it, we don't label it until they know what they're doing and it's reliable without the treat. Because otherwise, they might get a little bit confused as to what it actually means. So for now, all you're doing is teaching them that crawling on the floor is good, crawling on the floor pays, and if I keep repeating that, my humans seem to be quite happy and I get treats. Then when we know it's going to happen without that treat, that's when we start to add the cue in. So this might take a while. And the verbal cue to begin with, and then your hand gesture is actually going to create a cue, and you can start to think about what that could be. So it may be that you just moving your hand along, or moving your hand like this, becomes the verbal cue to do it. Not the verbal cue, the hand gesture to do it. It may be that you don't need that, you only do a verbal cue, which is absolutely fine. So, have a little practice with that, and we'll carry on working on it with you to see if you get any better at it, and then we may well end up having a second video available in the future of how to step this up. But for now, this is the beginning stages.